If you're wondering what I'm doing here with this oddly phallic shape, stay tuned. You'll find out. The LS Mustang is back for more. We did a little short on the intake tube that I made for it. This time it's back for me to install gauges into the center console. And that's what this shape is for. So I've been cutting and measuring and doing random stuff to get what I think the shape is going to be to go in there. I think we're close. Essentially it's just, you know, my form of CAD, cardboard assisted design. So it's just measuring, cutting, taping, putting back stuff that you cut off. We're gonna put the gauges up here. We're gonna have 3 slots here because he thinks he might run a couple more gauges. And then we're gonna leave the lower section open just in case he wants to do some, you know, race car switches or whatever he's gonna do for this. And then I'm going to use this as either extra place for him to put stuff or just something to kind of close off the bottom of the dash. Because right now, I mean, granted it fits the exterior of the car, but I know he wants it to be nice in the end. So we're gonna do a little extra. We'll see if I have any more to do, but that fits good. This will be nice. We'll have those 2 big gauges up here. I still got to measure and go about that. We'll do the 3 gauges across the center. And then he does have a lot of playroom for anything else we might add in the future, which would be nice. And I was also talking with him. I'm gonna see what Dave says, because of course I'm gonna go over there to cut this out of, with Dave's machine. And either it's gonna be out of aluminum, or it might be out of steel. Either way, just because of where I want the bends, and I'm horrible with Dave's giant bending machine, I'm gonna just cut out each individual piece and then we're going to mock it up and I'm gonna weld it together. This looks kind of ugly, so seeing that, I think I'm going to probably cut it into about there. And I'm doing just 1 mark because I still want it to meet up with the dash here. So essentially I'll just get my straight edge, we'll mark that, and then we'll just readjust how everything tapers into it here. The side over here, it doesn't fit that bad. I'm okay with that, especially where the carpet is and how the rest of this is. I think that'll be passable. This one, yeah, it's like 2 or more inches. I don't think that's good. All right, so I have everything cut now out of aluminum. It looks thick, but it is much thinner than that bumper was, so I'll be able to actually weld this up. And then, you know, the gauges are all set. The only thing I got to do is trim for the center. That way this will fit in there. So I'm going to cut that up. And then essentially we have an idea of how we can mount this. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition. I don't know. We might just be putting bolts and stuff in it.
What we might do is move it forward so the edge of this is off the front, because then it won't like sit weird. I mean, you can set it over there for. Gotcha it so it doesn't go flying.
So instead of bolts, Fred came up with a good idea. We've actually used these in the past. They're like a button clip. They can be used for like hood pins. They can be used to hold bumpers on. They do a lot of stuff, and it's actually really cool. So it has this little ball, so it doesn't have to be 100% perfect on it. And it just slides in the backside, and then it clicks on, and you can't pull it apart. And then to actually take it apart, you push the button down. And once the button is pushed down, it just literally pops off. It comes with, you know, the lock washers so that you can set a depth, just because, you know, they know it's not perfect. I don't even think you need a really expensive brand. You can get these on like Amazon or eBay or any of those places, and they're not very expensive and they're really cool for how they work. I welded everything up. We decided to grind the welds on the outside to give it a more finished look inside the car. And then we chose to it's kind of like a satin finish, but this is the epoxy black primer that Fred uses. I believe it's actually an SPI product, so we have the video on the SPI stuff that we like. So the next thing is mounting. I have, where did I put those things? These. So we're gonna put this, I'm probably looking at doing 3, 1 in the center and then 2 down here. But they have the stud, which gives you adjustment, and then this button disengages it, and then you push it together and then it's locked in. That way, it'll have like a nice little button finish. You know, it won't be as noticeable as like a weird bolt in one spot. And then it'll be easily removable without any tools. So you just push the 3 things and then you can take it out. Now I gotta figure out where I wanna put them, one's gonna be in the center here. And then somewhere down here, I'm gonna put the 2, either, I'm trying to figure out the distance. And then we just gotta make a bracket to attach the inner part to the stud, and then we can put it together. I made little brackets. So this one is for the top one. It just sits on a little piece that's behind the new center console. This is the piece that attaches the 2 in the bottom. I'm just doing it all as one. So I'm just gonna tack them together on this, each side, one there, one there. And then we're going to center it on this piece. And then I'm going to go essentially set it in the car. And I'm gonna do a rough test fit. That way everything will sit in there and we'll just make sure that, yeah, that's where we want it. And then weld. And we should be done after that. I'll just put the gauges together and then we get a finished product of hopefully something cool and pretty. I wanted to show you guys the little brackets that I made. So this is the top one. It just kind of protrudes from an OEM piece. And then we have the bottom one that also protrudes from an OEM piece. They're very firm. They're definitely overbuilt. So I'm now going to plug in the gauges, and then I'm gonna show you how these little things work. We're just gonna click this in here and hopefully everything goes the way that I want it to. There's one click. And the bottom 2 clicks. Other than my fingerprints on there, it looks pretty good. Before we let you guys go off to whatever video you're gonna watch after this, I'm gonna show you why we did these. And we did it essentially, 1, it's really cool. And 2, if he ever wants to do anything with the gauges or, you know, has to go back there, it requires 0 tools. So you just come up to the buttons and you push the buttons. And now it's off. And then as long as everything plays nice, it just clicks back in.